I've been rushing to get things set up. I still have to load the chat on my computer, so give me a moment. Where do I load that from? Jeez. It popped right up last time. There we are. Okay. Let me lower this down because it's a little bit too high, I feel. Instead of eye in the sky, your camera on the tripod. Well, I'm going to read through all the comments here. Make sure there's nothing that I'm missing. All right. It looks like some people get puddles and they wish they had a stream like I do. I'm pretty lucky, actually. There's a lot of streams on properties that are like tangential to me, not locally, but like family. So I have a lot of access to flowing water, actually, but all of it's kind of small, like micro, really small, like what I have here. Joe, what's my shoe size? It's a 12 EE, so that's extra wide, which really sucks because a lot of places don't have that. Dupes 402, you are a moderator, the first one. Congratulations. And we're up to 42 people already, so that's fantastic. I guess we can get started here. The first one is not from Langston's alternative power. It's just something else I got that's kind of turbine related. Apparently there are, okay, I don't know what, yeah, I do have a trash can here. So the pod guy is asking about this motor, and I guess it's highly relevant to what's in this package. This is a wind blue alternator. It is a GM 10SI or 12SI. They're like interchangeable size alternator with a different internal core. If you look inside, this is not the typical core that you would see inside an alternator. It's actually permanent magnets. So typically stock, these would come with brushes and internal windings that creates a counter polarity, I guess, of magnetism. But this is replaced with fixed magnets. Anyways, oh, this is a DC 520, by the way. Before I was talking with Spencer, I was planning on just using this as a quick stopgap measure because I have a whole lot of other stuff going on. So I just wanted to get something in there before engineering a final, more permanent solution. And this is what I got for this. So I needed some way to mount a rotor to this. If you try to attach a rotor here and attach spoons to it, then it's too close to the alternator itself and it won't fit. So you need something to extend it out. So I had thought of getting like a fat pulley like this that I can put on here. And now this is, let's take off some spacers apparently, maybe. So then this is the hub, although I don't have a nut now that fits in here. So it doesn't fit. So then this, I would mount the turbine to this, and then I have room around the actual motor for a housing. So that's what that's for. And I may still do this in the near term. We'll see what's in here and see if it all works. For other reasons, I may not be using what's in here immediately. And I'll get to that. Let me get caught up on the comments here. Hello, Daniel. Okay, and we're back. I don't know what happened there. It lost connection to YouTube. So I turned off Wi-Fi. I don't know if that's an issue. So right now it's going over cellular data. Anyways, I guess we can get to this. We just need a utility knife. We'll pick the rustiest one that we have. Suppose I should cover up my name because I'm dumb. And I don't know if Spencer wants his address put there either. I hope it's good enough quality. It doesn't seem to be in HD. Oh, maybe it is. Okay. Like it got a little wet, or maybe just the box is wet. So we'll see what's in here. Now, this is stuff that Spencer Langston of Langston's Alternative Power sent me. He wanted me to explicitly state that it's not production stuff. It's like prototypes or old prototypes that he's stopped using. So he's just given me some of these things, and I don't know exactly what's in here. And then there's maybe something else that's bonus that I might have to buy or return to him if we don't ultimately use it. Okay. So there's some other stuff in there, and I'll get to that in a little bit. This is a turbine that apparently he made as a prototype. And give you guys a good view of it. If you see in there, there is a turbo wheel from a turbocharger in a fan housing with a welded on lip hub there. And then here's trying to think which one would be the exhaust. I think this would be the exhaust, but I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him, I think. He said that this is good for about 100 watts. So it's a turbocharger turbine. And then this is a 3-phase permanent magnet alternator that's from a, he said it's from a scooter, I think, or motorcycle. Actually, a lot of motorcycles have three-phase permanent magnet alternators inside them. And so that's what this is. And actually, I do think that this would be the input on this turbine, and then this would be the exhaust. Just looking at the... So that's really exciting. Now, what we're going to do with this, you remember Andy L? I did a water wheel video with him a few weeks ago, and we're going to try that out at his place because he has the perfect application for this. Spencer said that this is good for, I think, around 50 gallons per minute and 3 to 7 feet of head. The way this would work is you have water coming in here, and then, excuse me, this is a vacuum tube. So you have 3 to 7 or more feet, I assume, of PVC pipe attached here, and it creates a vacuum which kind of sucks the water through. So then this is just supplying water, maybe at a little bit of positive pressure. And that is what makes the alternator spin. Let's see if we can look in. I don't know if you guys can see enough in there, if there's enough light. You can see the turbine spinning inside. Now, this is what would be called commonly a low head turbine. I know that Spencer sells these, and I know that Power Spout sells a similar model, but much larger capacity, not small like this prototype model. So again, for any viewers that are just coming in, this is not a production machine. This is a prototype. He wanted me to state that. Let's see what the comments are saying about this before we move on to the next thing. I just want to get caught up. Andrew's talking about Starlink. Andrew H. Guess what? I like Starlink. I like what Elon Musk does so much that I bought a hat when they were selling them. I haven't worn it, but it's out of its bag, so it's a little bit dusty. So I don't know if that's worth anything. I thought it would be cool to have on my desk for kind of this purpose. Let's hang it back up over there, out of the way. Do It Lane Styles asking about rough weather, if we have rough weather here, and that's why the stream's dropping out. No, it's not really rough. It's kind of just a light, continuous snowfall currently, and it's right around freezing. Let's get this stuff out of the way. The Pi Guy's asking about data plan on my phone. I have Cricket with the full unlimited plan, so I'm not worried about data. W2 Kamer, he's Trent, the guy that donated a bunch of stuff like these organizers here. He's getting wet about this. So I'm going to make you a moderator because you deserve that too. Do It Lane Style, yes, it's a turbo. It's half of a turbo, actually. And I wonder if you could actually take a big diesel turbo and modify it, just cut off half of it. So I guess you would cut off the cold side of the turbo and then replace the cold side with a permanent magnet alternator like this. Tom Bearing, I don't know if I said, um, if you guys caught that this is good for like 100 gallons per minute and 3 to 7 feet of head, which is approximately, he said, Spencer said around 100 watts that this could make. And it is three-phase, so this would have to be rectified. I do not have my rectifier around here to show you guys what one of those looks like. So this is three-phase that comes out of this, and it goes through rectifier to make DC power. And then that DC would be varying voltage. You run that through either a charge controller, or in some cases you can hook it up directly to a battery, and that would suit your needs of power transfer. Steven's asking about the ice buildup, and it hasn't really built up at all. It's been, sorry, my wife was laughing and that just threw me off. She's watching book club on TV upstairs. The ice collection isn't collecting anything because it's been hovering right around freezing right now, and it doesn't really collect unless it's like below, at least that I've seen, below 27 degrees Fahrenheit. So I expect it'll be collecting a lot more in the future. Andrew H is saying that a truck turbo would never last due to cavitation. I don't know. They wouldn't be high pressures, so I wouldn't expect to see any cavitation. Well, not high pressures, but not high vacuums. Mr. Dragster is saying, how am I storing and distributing the power system into my home? I don't know quite yet. That's a project for the future, and it really depends on the budget that I'll have. And I kind of want to do approach as grid tie to just make it simple for me. I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to have solar too. So I think I'll do the grid tie when I get the solar, and then I'll just add in the hydro at the same time for power. Also, we had some super chats. White trash gone mudding, $5. Buy yourself something fancy. What would be fancy for me that I could buy? I don't know. I'm not a fancy person. Maybe you guys should suggest some things for $5 that I could buy myself. Minus 30%, because YouTube actually takes a cut from any super chats. And again, I'm in Western Pennsylvania, so it's a little bit colder than probably a lot of my viewers. Thief 9001 says, am I going to do the automatic disconnect things? And yes, I do plan on doing that. Ultimately, my goal would be to run the house as much off-grid as possible, and then just tie into the grid as necessary. Like, say it's been dry and cloudy and no wind, and then I'll need grid power. So instead of having like a backup generator, I'd have grid as backup. Nathan M, thank you for the Google Rewards money. I think I'm the one that told you about that. And I know you get... So Nathan M, he lives in a place and where... Okay, I'd get out my phone and show you, but Google Review Rewards or something or other is an app that you can get on your phone to do reviews, and then you get a little bit of money in exchange for every review. Now, he lives in a place where you go somewhere and you're going to automatically get a Google review to fill out, and then you get like 15 to 30 cents. I live in a place where you do that and you get like maybe 2 a month. So, and those 2 a month is when I go out of town. So nobody around here does that sort of stuff. They just don't care about getting any sort of survey data from us. That's the way it is. Tom Bering says laced underwear. I don't know what sort of underwear you could get for $5. Probably not good ones. White Trash Gone Mudding is saying it's snowing in Ohio. Yes, it is snowing here today. It's been snowing all day, and it was actually spitting snow earlier this week also here. So this is like the first, actually today is the first day of precipitation where I am. There was actually enough snow that you could maybe scrape some together and make a snowball. Now I was driving around, and just the way I am in the valley, I'm at the bottom of the valley, and just a little bit up higher in the valley, there's snow. Like a lot more snowfall is accumulating. So like literally, if you go up 100 feet in the valley, there's enough snow on the ground to just pick up some snow and make a snowball. Around here, no, forget it. Not right now. Excuse me. Precision set of screwdrivers. Yes, I would love to, except that would probably buy me one screwdriver. I have some Weehaws around here somewhere. I think they're in my toolbox. I'd go get them, but that's on the other side of the garage, and it's not important to show you guys. So they're going to stay over there for now. And the guy that I can't pronounce his name is saying to buy a fancy turbine. That I might maybe buy a few nuts and bolts for it. Steve B is saying LED lights, I assume. These lights here, I don't know what lights you're talking about. These lights here are LED, and I just have them on a separate switch. Thief 9001 is worried or saying that the power companies are worried about individual homeowners leaving their systems tied to the grid and backfeeding to the grid. The technical term for that is anti-islanding, is a feature that grid tie inverters would have. German Top Game TV, how much is power per kilowatt hour here? I don't know what the mix is. And where I am in Western PA, we're close to like Niagara Falls, and then there's a few other hydroelectric places. So I imagine some of the power is hydroelectric. I think there's also nuclear and coal. So it's a mix, and we pay for electricity at 16 cents per kilowatt hour, for those wondering. It's like $8 generation and then $8 transmission. Or no, 8-cent generation, 8-cent transmission fee, approximately. Do it Lane Styles asking if I'm going to go straight to the grid eventually. So in the meantime, battery. Yeah, I think so. I'll just do a small battery system to begin with. Yeah, my brother earned $127 through Google Rewards. That's Nathan M. And I've earned like $9.58, I think. And I gave a super chat to HB Powerwall like 2 days ago. And in the chat, HB Powerwall suddenly realized that I am the Water Wheel Joe. So that was kind of interesting to be recognized as a notable person. That was fun for me. Strict Toaster is asking, what's the wattage you're hoping to get from the stream once the turbine is installed? This one, 100 watts. The big one that I'm building, 1,000 watts, or maybe even 1,200 watts. Maybe if I'm lucky, that's about all the penstock would support. Any more than that, and you start losing energy to friction. If you start trying to push more water through there at a faster velocity, friction increases like exponentially of some sort with velocity. So at a certain point, your velocity gets so high that it cancels out any potential power losses due to friction loss. Well, before I'm gonna look. So there's only one other thing in this box. Before I read too many comments, I'll have to catch up in the comments in a little bit. This is the other thing that he sent me that I may be able to use, at least in the meantime, as a temporary setup. All right, so this is a keyway. And so a temporary setup, I was thinking about doing this as a initial primary or temporary setup. And he gave me this, which may also work for the temporary setup or even a final setup. This is a rotor and hub that goes onto, and I'll get it because I have it right here under my desk. So you guys might have seen this in previous videos. I bet you have, actually. This is a 3-phase permanent magnet alternator, just like this one, just bigger. So he said this one will go on here, and then I can use it until I get the rest of it set up and maybe finally calculated. He said it should fit right on, but it doesn't seem to be slipping on immediately. So it might be that it needs reamed out a little bit. So I might have to take it over to my neighbor's shop to ream it out. Possibly. Or maybe it needs to be heated up and pressed on. But that's not sliding on. It wants to, it's starting to, but it's probably around 2 or 3 thousandths of interference that it's not fitting. So this will need modified a little bit to use. And I guess I have to run over towards the toolbox and get the spoons that'll go on this, just so I can show you guys. And I'm back. Do I have my, I don't know where my dial indicators are, or dial caliper is. So this is a Pelton spoon. You saw this in the last live stream, and he said that this rotor works for these spoons, and it does look like it will fit. So I can put however many spoons will fit on here, on this, and then put it on here once I get it reamed out to fit. And then I'll be able to just build a housing for this real quick, throw it in the pit, and make some power. So I do plan on doing that in the short term for sure. He said there's also a bolt somewhere around here. So this bolt will go in here too and hold it on. So, and I could maybe try like heating it up and slipping it on, but I think that'll ruin things. It'll get stuck on, and I won't be able to get it off in the future. If I ever have to change this, then I'll be SOL. All right, let's see what the comments are saying about these fancy things that I have here, or other non-fancy things. White Trash Gone Mudding is asking if I'm going to install solar panels. Yes. Surely the power company have diodes set up. Around here, no, they don't have diodes. Anybody can grid tie. Just the way it is. Yeah, German Top Game TV 16. Sorry guys, I'm pretty far back in the chat, I'm pretty sure. let's go to live. White trash commenting saying cool. Now I know what to spend the $5 on to get it machined. Yeah, he said he'll do things at cost. So maybe we'll just set this up in the. They don't really have many lathes over there. They're more of a milling shop. So maybe we'll set this up in the mill and then just use a boring head to go down in and bore it to fit. WTK is saying just use the fan blades like spoons. Oh, he's saying, I get it now. He's saying to shoot a jet through the fan blades here. And yes, you actually could make that work. And there are turbines that kind of do that, at least in this shape of fan. It's called a cross-flow turbine. I have something over here, I think. Wow. So I'm viewing this on my laptop. It's like 4 or 5 seconds behind. You can make a cross-flow turbine, and this is something that I saved out of a vertical fan that you shoot water through. Let's see, I'll do it for this orientation for you. You shoot water into it here tangentially, and it's made for low head, high flow setups. Shoot water in here, and then on the back side, as it's rotating, it ejects it out again. So you actually harvest the energy from the water twice. Once when it enters the turbine fan, and then a second time when it exits the turbine fan. So I was going to try to make something out of this at some point in the future, not anytime soon for sure. Okay, you guys are commenting too fast. I'm going to have to go back through and read these later. Kevin Stewart saying you and Chris Harbor are the best hydro channels I've found. Question is, why do I watch them when I don't have a creek on my land? That's because you're living vicariously through me, Kevin. That's the word for it, vicarious. A lot of people watch YouTube for exactly that reason, actually. He thought this. Somebody's thought this folder was raw hamburger, and it does kind of look like that. It's just a notebook that apparently has some drawings from my niece on it. And then, oh, I have, this is my index for trim boards for the house upstairs. And then it's blank. I kind of had this here in case I wanted to take notes from the live stream, just in case. Nathan M is asking, how do dam hydros work? And the type of turbine that like a large hydroelectric dam will use is called a Kaplan turbine, Kaplan turbine. And it uses pressurized water that goes through a fan that's kind of like a cross between this and the type of fan that you would see on like a jet pump for a jet boat or a jet ski. So that's what large hydroelectric dams use, and they will actually have vanes, not like this, but like this, that direct the water into the impeller to increase efficiency. And you can also adjust the vanes to determine the amount of power or water and therefore power that goes through a turbine. I'm trying to think, I'm drawing a brain fart right now. Some other low head turbines actually use a Kaplan style of power spout. Power spout does a low head turbine that is kind of a Kaplan style turbine. Apparently pretty efficient. It's kind of like those spiral vortice turbines you might have seen videos recently on, except they don't use a spiral housing for it, they have just a square box that reduces any vortices before going in, so it doesn't have any artificial loss in head or potential for sucking in air, because you don't have any whirlpools that are, sucking air down through the turbine. WT Gamers asked about recovered 18650s. Yes, my brother has a bunch of recovered 18650s. WT Gamers asking about Jehu Garcia. Yes, I do watch a lot of his videos, and I'm trying to catch his live streams if they're on. And he does those on Monday evenings, but I'm not sure what time. He does really cool stuff with 18650s. But I asked pointedly this question to HB Powerwall in his live stream earlier this week: if Jehu's PCB style 18650 boards are worth it or any good. That wasn't actually my question, but the way he approached it was that no, those PCB boards are not good for large scale implementations. You'd have to do something else. You have, I know HB Powerwall, he has grids that go on either side. Like say this is 18650, it's a grid that goes on either side to align them, and then he will solder or spot weld, I don't know exactly what he has, on battery strips on the batteries. And then so a whole bunch of batteries will be one cell at 3.7 to 4.2 volts, like 40 in parallel. And then it'll run those in series to an inverter. And what I was actually asking what I was actually asking HB Powerwall is if there's any sort of modular 18650 system, kind of like Jehu's, but make it plug and play, kind of like hot swappable hard drives in a network attached storage device in a server. So you just plug in a new hard drive and boom, you have this additional storage. I think it'd be really fantastic if you could do the same thing with 18650s. With the caveat, and I realize that there is an issue with it, that they have to be a similar chemistry, or the same chemistry actually, and similar performance for the cells. And when you plug them into the system, they have to be at the same voltage, otherwise you have instantaneous power draws that could break things. So you'd have to balance them to the pack 2. I thought that was a really cool thing that somebody should do. Like, so you have this wall mount inverter in your garage, and so it's one inverter unit, and then off to the side you have a whole bunch of battery packs that you just plug in, kind of like what you would have on a power drill. I don't have a power drill near me. So you just plug in additional batteries as you need the storage, or as you, if it's more of a DIY implementation, if you salvage and build battery packs, you just plug them in as you get them. I think that'd be really cool. Andres Posada is, I'm from Colombia, where in USA can you buy that thing? This thing is a prototype. You cannot buy one of these. But this is Spencer Langston is the one that made this and sent this to me. This, well, he sent the hub to me. And again, this is a prototype that you can't buy, but you could buy similar hubs that fit on these from the guy that sells these. And these are Mote Energy, M-O-T-E Energy. And you can buy a bunch of different winding variations of this and other motors. A problem that I actually have with this, and I didn't realize it when I bought it, is that it's wired for too high of a voltage. So to get the volts that I need out of this unit, I have to be spinning at like 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs. So that's excessive. Now, if I went with a 12 volt turbine, this is a 48 volt wound turbine. if I wanted a 12 volt turbine, then I can generate the power that I want at 500 to 1,000 watts, and then I have less inefficiencies due to windage and friction. So I need to either return this, or I can trade this one out with Spencer, or I could just buy another one, and then I'll have this on hand for other things like a wind turbine. When I bought this, I saw on the listing that this was 48 volt, so I thought that's what I need. But no, apparently I need the 12 volt one, which is wound with larger wires that I can run at a lower RPM and get 48 volts, which is what I want. I want to run not actually 48 volts. I want to run a 48 volt system. And Spencer actually told me that I need to run a Midnight Classic 200 volt rated charge controller with I forget if it was with the SL or without the SL. It's one of those has the hydro settings, and the other one does not have the hydro settings. So that's what I need to run with this. So that's that. Let's go to I just jumped ahead in the comments again, so if I jumped over some of them, I'm sorry. I'll take note of them and address them in the next live stream that I do. And no, I don't know when the next live stream will be. I just decided to do this today because I got this care package today. Matthew Boyd is asking about, so I plan on hydro and solar, and he's asking if I thought about wind too. I do actually have a pretty good location for wind. Not great, but for example, I have an AccuRite weather station that's kind of approximately where I would put a wind turbine. It's more in a pessimistic location than where the turbine would go, so it would report lower than realistic velocities for wind. And if I run that through a calculator for a 10-foot turbine, that would be approximately, just for the past month, on an average of 500 watt hours, 500 watt hours per day. So it's actually not very much. I'd need a larger turbine to make it really worthwhile. For reference, 500 watt hours per day is what I expect this to make in 30 minutes, whereas the wind turbine would be making that in 24 hours. So it would be 1/48th the output of one of these. 1/48th the output of one of these in my stream. And that's at 10 feet in my location. The Pi guy's asking how plausible would it be to rewind the coils for the alternator. Doesn't look like it'd be too hard. There's a lot of space in there. But I think just for professional, because these are all varnish coated and professionally wound by China, of course. I think it'd be a better bet for me to just get a proper one of these for what I need. The 12 volt version, not the 48 volt version. It costs $150 approximately. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. Apparently it's talking. Leroy Dundle-Hayes, do I know anything about the laws or regulations? I don't know a whole lot. I do know that if you're in wetlands or anything that's like a navigable waterway or a migratory stream, that basically you shouldn't. You may be able to get a permit, but it would cost you a whole bunch of money and time to get all of the permitting cleared for that. So I think like a spring or a very steep creek or ditch like I have, you'd be okay. Don't quote me on that. Stephen Degania, apparently you guys are talking about Chris Harbour's turbine. He is 3 to 5 times the water. Is it 3 to 5 times? I think he has like a lot more. He has like 20 times the water that I have or more. But I have the 20 times the head that he does. So that's just how it works out. Tom Bearing's asking if I have thought about binding all of these products together in a smart home hub to keep tabs on power gain, water flow rate, wireless control. The controller that I've been collaborating with Pete Marchetto, I don't know if the C is extra hard in that name. And it's going to have a wireless interface for the turbine control. And if I'm sure we could implement some sort of app for my phone. But as it is right now, I just kind of want it to be kind of offline and dumb, except for data collection. For the rest of it, I had thought about doing a whole home energy monitoring, which would probably include some sort of amp meter on any sort of generated power. That's that. Kevin Stewart's saying pumped hydro storage, and generally no, it doesn't work for me because you'd have to have thousands of gallons up on top of the hill to make it worthwhile. And that might be okay if I built a pond, but again, it's not my property, so that's not something that I could do. I plan on using the energy as I harness it, using it in the form of either battery storage or direct use. And then you're asking me if I can just use the spring water in my house. I cannot use the spring water directly in my house for 2 reasons. One, the spring is too shallow in its water, so I get a lot of, it would be brown under high flow and probably full of parasites and stuff. So it could be filtered and treated for sure. That's not an issue. And then I could also regulate the pressure down because it's 120 psi. Now the maximum pressure you want to have in your house is like 80 psi is actually the code maximum. And I measured at my manifold up in the house, and I was at like 81 psi, at least on that day. It may fluctuate actually. So I'd have to have a pressure regulator too. But in a, I guess in a zombie apocalypse, I would be okay, kinda, as long as I don't get killed by the zombies. IEE is asking what happened to my right index finger. This is a, put it closer so you can see. It's a blood blister, and I crushed it on, I hope it's in focus. I can't tell because my computer's lagging like 5 seconds behind. Okay, it's out of focus. It's a blood blister because I pinched it. I was setting down a jet ski engine, and I don't know, it slipped in the stand and it pinched my finger. Indianapolis, Indiana is 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's colder in the flyover states right now, but that cold weather is coming our way. And then it'll probably warm up again because the jet stream oscillates like it always does. Just point the hose at the zombies. I could probably, but one at a time, and then probably dissuade them for a little bit as long as I had enough water to begin with. So apparently there's a delay that YouTube automatically adds. And yeah, I believe that. But also probably because my phone's going through cellular data. So it goes from my phone through cellular up to YouTube and then back down to my laptop. And that's probably explaining the 5 or 6 second delay. Let's see if it's snowing outside right now. Maybe you guys can see through the door here. No, it's not snowing. It's not doing anything outside right now. Mushiest, 78 degrees Fahrenheit here. I'm jealous of you, unless it's really humid. And then actually I prefer this weather. And Tom Bering is in Denmark, so he can't see anything. Yeah, it's the same thing here. It's pitch dark. The sun goes down at well, it's definitely dark by 6 p.m. Right now, for me locally, it's 9:23 p.m. because I realize I have viewers from all over the world, which is fascinating and fun. Do it lay in style. Okay, I'm gonna check out your channel for sure. Apparently you do battery storage too. And there is another YouTuber, he's a smaller guy, that left a comment in one of my videos to go check out his hydroelectric system. And let me get you guys a link to that because I think it is fascinating and very similar to what I'm going to be doing ultimately. I guess I could talk about what I was doing today. Let me get that link for you real quick before I start on another tangent. Let's go straight to the video. Oh, it's already up to 1,000 views. That's good. Okay. Go check out his video. That's a lot of fun. What was I going to talk about? I don't remember anymore. Oh, wait, where is it? Oh, that's not what I meant to happen. Oh, there it is. Okay. I don't know where it came from, but I found this. It's another electrical gland fitting, but it's a smaller one. So this would potentially be, at least for a temporary turbine, a good way of doing an adjustable variable jet that's of an okay efficiency, we'll say. So it goes down pretty small. Make sure you guys, or the camera can focus on that, and then it opens up pretty wide. So I might try using this as the first jet that I use. We'll see how that works. And WT cameras, sometimes in Allentown, PA. I'm not close to Allentown, I'll just tell you guys that. Matthew Boyd, 44F in Dallas. You know, I've never been to Texas. I want to visit there someday. Dallas, and then Austin. I want to go to Austin. I have to go there early enough. Franklin barbecue. So I'd like to make that pilgrimage someday. Oh yeah, what did I do today? Sorry, I forgot about mentioning that. Move a little bit closer here. Point the camera towards me so it's so I'm not all the way in the top corner of the screen. Today I was doing the lid on the turbine pit. Let me move you guys up a little bit more still. There, so now I'm in the middle of it. Turbine pit, I'd show you a picture, but again, I don't have a way to easily show you that here. I'll put a post on my community tab for my channel. And I was just doing the lid for the turbine pit, and I got it mostly done. I just need to attach the roofing material, which is already cut, but I couldn't attach it because of the way I have the, well, not because of the way I have it, but everything's wet. So I wasn't able to, I didn't want to attach it. I have, I got metal roofing for the lid, so I need to attach this foam stuff to it. It's a little bit stuck together because it's got adhesive on it. But is this only one each? I think I need to get 2 more of these actually before I put it on. But this will keep bugs from getting underneath the steel and building nests. But I couldn't put the steel on because I couldn't put this on because it was all wet. And this has adhesive backing on it. And then, so this is good for the ends. And then I was going to do some on the other parts of it with some smaller foam too. And then, so the whole lid is on hinges so it can lift up. And then around the lid, I'm going to do some of this foam. It's thicker foam here. And that should give me a decent seal around it to keep out or to keep in noise. And the way I did it all, so you guys know I have the concrete block pit, and all the way around it I used well, it's right here actually. I used some of this foam, which is what you put on top of foundations to keep water from wicking up into wood. And I just used normal wood as a plate on top of the block. And then, so that's my mating or sealing surface that I'm going to put the foam on. And then I built kind of a small roof frame that'll go on, that is actually on top of that right now with plywood. And then the roofing will be on top of that. And I still I have to paint it. And then I was going to put some insulation in it too to keep it warm, at least in the winter. And also the insulation will probably, hopefully, keep down sound. And I'm going to insulate the rest of the pit too, as needed. I'm going to monitor temperatures, but I really don't think it's going to be a problem because even today, when it was snowing, I had the water flowing in a bucket, and the water in the bucket was noticeably warm, warmer than I would expect compared to the freezing weather that's outside. Let's look at the comments real quick. I told my wife it would be like a half hour to an hour, so this is already an hour, so I'm going to start wrapping this up soon. Maybe we'll watch another episode of Jack Ryan. We're up through 6 out of the 9 episodes, so we have to catch up on that. Anything? Comments? Not really. Kevin's asking about the ice buildup. It's not cold enough right now to do ice buildup. Again, that's only when it's down below like 25 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll have that later this week, so we'll see what it does. Midnight Gardener saying the batteries charge up this time. Yes, on my phone. I actually have the phone plugged in, and it had a good charge before we started. So I know that's not going to be a problem. The guy who I can't pronounce his name is mentioning mold. Maybe. I don't know. We'll cross that stream when we get to it. Or cross that bridge when we get to it. No popcorn popping. No, I don't have a stove down here. Nope, that's wrong. I do actually have 2 stoves. I have the camping stove that you guys saw when I was up on the stream putting the pipe together. And then I also have an electric hot plate that doesn't get hot enough to really cook anything. So I do have 2, but neither of them would work good for popcorn. I do want to get a small commercial popcorn maker, so that'll have like a warming light and it'll dry out the popcorn, so then I'll have like actual movie theater style popcorn. because the whirly pop is good, but it gets you like 80% of the way there, but not the last 20% to get real movie theater popcorn that I love. Nikesh Amin, thank you. Stephen Degonia, water was heated out by friction in the penstock pipe. There probably is a little bit of friction heating, but I don't know if it actually dissipates as fast as it's generated. It probably does. Never cross streams, yeah. Okay. Riri Games. I'll see you guys around. Since you're saying good night. Hydro popcorn popper. Maybe sometime in the future, yes, I will be able to do that for sure. I used to have a fan-powered popcorn maker too. Not me personally, but my parents did. They might still have it. I know my brother remembers it too, and it made some pretty good popcorn too. The sound and the smell of it brings back memories. Okay, so I'm gonna call it quits here. Clearly, I have a lot of work to deal with. Oh, another little tidbit of information. My friend Andy, who has the water wheel, he knows somebody who knows somebody, and I got in contact with him today, that has a DIY Pelton turbine in the area. So hopefully sometime in a week or two, we're going to go check that out. And if the owner's cool with it, I'm going to make a video. If not cool with it, I'm going to ask for permission to like maybe take some pictures and share them. I don't know who this person is. I've never met him or spoke with him. I may have actually met him. I don't know. So expect that coming up, and probably not a whole lot of hydro videos aside from maybe cobbling together something real quick just to get some power generating, because I still have to finish the house, and I've been making a lot of progress on that. You guys saw in the last vlog that I have the shop kind of cleared up a lot, and well, there's a little bit of a mess now because it's space, and you collect things on space. But now I have enough room to actually do the ceiling. Before I couldn't walk around even, but now I can. So that's it, and smash the like button, and I will see you guys later. Oh, you guys want to see the shop? Okay, at least my brother does. Here, I can show it to you. I'll unplug my camera. So now we're going mobile. Here's my shop area. I didn't set that up, my light here on my desk where it should have been. Yeah, whatever. I can back up to the door and we can actually see how much room there is now. There's a lot of room there. And then I had the welder out to do some work here. And then I got this welding table. I wonder if I can turn the light on my live stream. That would be fun. Enable flash. Okay, we do have light. Since we're going outside and I have light, I guess I can show you guys what I did. A little sneak peek teaser for a video that I'll be working on later. Maybe we'll see the bear. I don't know. Ooh, another super chat. Thank you for a guy who I can't pronounce his. Yeah, so here's the snow we have. Not enough for a snowball. Let's not slip and die while we're here. So that's the water that I have running, and then here's the lid that I worked on today. And you can see it's got a gap here. I'm letting this dry out before I actually attach the roofing. I got handles here, and I have hinges on the back side, And here's the port that I have for water that will be coming in from the penstock. And I do actually have a, you see the wire going in, I have a work light shining at it to heat it up and cure that concrete or the mortar. Because it wasn't set after 24 hours, so I figured it needed a little bit of extra heat to finish up. All right, let's go back inside, not trip and die, and I'll say goodbye, or have some good light. So yeah, the turbine is that close to my shop. And that's the delay on my computer. All right. So goodbye, everybody. It was fun, and I hope we're going to do this again soon. Hopefully we'll break the 100 viewer mark next time. That'll be a treat. So have a good night or morning or lunch, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys later.